This TV and this thing. Oh, come on. Don't. No, you don't. Welcome again to Theology of Games. I'm really excited today because we're reviewing Fluxx the Board Game.
Fluxx. The very name gives me the shivers.
Fluxx is love the game to pieces. I love all the different versions of it. My zombie Fluxx box is like destroyed because we played it so much. I don't know what happened to it. If anybody wants to send me a box for my zombie Fluxx deck, that'd be awesome.
I don't like Fluxx. I'm not a fan of Fluxx. I will play Fluxx with my family grudgingly. But I don't like Fluxx. So when Looney Labs said, will you guys at Theology of Games please review Fluxx, I grudgingly said yes. Hi, I'm Scott Firestone.
I'm Jeremiah.
With Theology of Games, and today we're talking about Fluxx the Board Game. Will I feel about the board game the way I do about the card game? Let's find out.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the game setup first. One of my favorite things to tell people is that, hey, the game is starting and there's no way that anybody can win. It's not possible. There's no win condition for the game. That is not so with the board game version of Fluxx. You're going to there's this tile here. It's called the goal tile. You place your goals here. At the beginning of the game, you're going to take 5 goal cards and you're going to stack them randomly on that space. So you have a goal when you begin the game. Players will select a color and you'll place that in front of you. The next thing that happens is players will take turns. Everybody gets to change one rule. You can increase any of these, or you can toggle these special rules, and you can even increase the number of goals it takes to win. So that is basically the setup. You place your 3, there's only 3, markers on the center start tile. Deal everybody 1, 2, 3 cards, and that's your hand, and you go.
Okay, let's talk about some of the components for Fluxx the Board Game. The game comes with 9 of these nice thick wood cardboard tiles. There's a start tile, and then there are 8 other tiles that have these different symbols that you'll probably recognize from the basic Fluxx card game. Each tile also has one of these hexagons. Wait, that's not a hexagon. That's an octagon. That's an octagon right there. Yeah, that's an octagon. Whereas each other space can hold 1 person, an octagon can hold as many people as you want. And then there are 2 spaces on the board that have these portals on them. And as soon as you move on to a portal, you immediately transport to the other portal, wherever it is on the. And then the start tile, as you can see, has these arrows leading off, and that is the direction you are forced to lead off on. Then we've got the player pieces. Not only are there 4 different colors, but there are 4 different shapes.
The ever iconic joystick marker, the even more recently iconic off-brand meeple, and even more iconic the circle, and who could forget the cube.
Don't get used to your color because there are cards in there that might make you swap colors. The cards, let's talk about those cards. So in the game there are 4 different types of cards. There's the goal card, and these are similar to what are in the card game.
Right now, all the goals only require 2 spaces. There's no like certain amount of cards in your hand or any of those kind of odd goals that you'll find in the card games.
So on this goal, somebody needs to be on the chocolate and on the milk on the game board, or Dreamland, you need to be on the Z's, and then you need to be on this sleeping person thing.
So if you have played Fluxx before, there's some cards that will look very familiar to you. Draw 2 and use them. You set your hand aside and you draw those 2 cards from the deck, and then you have to use it. That's been in Fluxx for like a decade.
These are the ones that remind me most of the regular board game because they're super chaotic. Shuffle hands, gather up all the cards from everyone, shuffle them out, and deal them out evenly. Crazy chaos. Back to square one. Everyone except you immediately moves all their pieces back to the start tile. That is such a hose card. Then there are new rule cards. They will allow you to change rules. So they might change the hand limit as here.
You can toggle things on and off. Add one, you can subtract one from here. Alter how many cards are played, how many cards are drawn, how many moves you have, your hand limit size. All of those things that you would expect in Fluxx, they're all here. And there's a new type of card. Instead of keepers, they are leapers. Leapers allow you to move directly to music. My Facebook just notified me that my wife posted that I'm talking to myself. I'm not talking to myself, I'm talking to my viewers. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it.
So there are the cards. And then we have these pieces that allow you to change the rules. The game starts with needing 3 goals, but this might move up or down. And then this one allows you to rotate a tile.
You can use one of your moves to actually rotate a tile. Why would you do that? Well, maybe you had a certain amount of moves and you needed to get to that heart. That would allow you to do that.
Uprooting a tile allows you to, just like it says, take a tile from this grid right here and move it anywhere you'd like. So you could move it over here, or wherever you'd like to, as long as it's still connected somehow to this main part. And then the third thing you can do is wrap around.
This is really cool. You can actually leave one side of the board, and like Pac-Man, you can go and there it is. Check that out. That's so cool. It's like magic, or Pac-Man. So that can save you a lot of movement.
You can even go from this toaster space over here to this octagon and jump over this. This thing is really cool and neat, except that wait, the pegs are kind of, wait, I'm going to put that back in there. I want, hey, all right, that's too short. Put that, all right, and, all right, hang on, just 1 second here. We're going to do 5, all right, hey, okay, referee, and then, okay, you're going to be like that, all right, fine. The pegs are too long for both of these. See? So the pegs are too long for this thing. It is super frustrating and drives you kind of crazy. So you can either have the board flat and have pieces popping out, or you can have it tilted up slightly so that the pieces don't pop out. I know it's just it's just an oversight on their part. It makes this seem dumb. Even my wife, who doesn't like games, is like, why didn't they just have pieces that you move on a track? This is my one component complaint, and it's kind of a biggie. This is awful. Other than that, the game and its components are primo. I really like them a lot. Okay, let's talk about gameplay. This is really rather simple. What you're going to be doing is each turn you're going to be looking at this thing, and whatever this is, that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be drawing exactly as many as this says. You're going to be playing exactly as many cards as it says. You're going to be moving that many spaces divided between your 3 pieces in any way you want.
And then you can play and move in any order the number of cards and moves. You can play your cards, you can move, you can switch back and forth in any order you want.
And your hand limit will be one of these things. And then depending on which one of these rules is in place, you can uproot tiles and rotate tiles for a movement point and so forth and so on.
If you happen to have a piece on each of the required spaces on the board that matches the goal, you collect that goal. Unlike the card game, 1 goal does not equal a win. There's the tracker that we showed before. So you have to have at least 3 goals to win.
So really, the thing that makes Fluxx the Board Game interesting is that each turn is a little puzzle. I can see chocolate and milk. I need to get there. In addition, there are going to be a number of goals that are out there. So you can look through them and see, okay, thick crust pizza is the top one. But you can look through the rest of these and say, okay, that's what's coming up. And in addition, you'll be drawing ones from your hand. So it's possible for you to play one from your hand, knowing that obviously what you need to be able to do it. So you can maneuver your pieces on here, and so you get there, go bam, and I'm already there, and bam, I'm going to collect that and take it. So each turn is a puzzle to figure out how am I going to get to these 2 spaces, given these rules that are in play, and the state of the board here. And that's what I like about the game. It's a puzzle. It just feels more strategic to me.
Fluxx the Board Game is probably exactly what I thought it would be, if not more.
Do I like it better than the card game? 1,000 times yes. 1,000,000 times yes. I don't like Fluxx the card game at all.
I know Fluxx the franchise. I've played many versions of the card game. I actually feel like I got more than I expected out of it. My first reaction was, this is awesome.
I'm not going to say this is a favorite. I'm not going to say that I want to bring this to my game group all the time and play it with them. I don't. But I do like this game. A fair bit, actually. That was ridiculous. I like it a fair bit. I've played this with my family a number of times, and they've enjoyed it, and the kids love it, and I don't feel like it's just a luck fest and I'm driving myself crazy. It's fun.
With the board, I felt like there's a little more control, a little more maneuvering and positioning. With the goals stacking up, as those goals come off, you can kind of start to know what's there and combo up and even get 2 or more goals on a turn.
This is something I could definitely see playing with non-gamers. You're going to want to watch out for people who take forever on their turns. Every turn is a puzzle, and if it's a puzzle, then it will take forever.
I loved what this did mechanically for the gameplay of the actual game. I didn't so much like the component. These little guys kind of looked like the Game of Life people, like I wanted to stick them in a car and drive them down to retirement. You can be a winner in the game of life.
My gamer group played it, and it was all kind of, yeah, that's fine, it's better than the card game. Although one person, interestingly enough, said that he thought that by them making it more strategic, they actually made it worse because of the chance for analysis paralysis.
The game tiles, it's not a double-sided, there's no logo printed on it. It would have just been a nice touch if it was there. Not having something on the other side of this when you're playing doesn't affect the gameplay at all. It could have been something cool where if it was double-sided and there were different things, you could have flipped it and that would have been a cool function of the game. Maybe for version 2.0. You heard it here first.
Another complaint I had, and this is just a preference thing, I think the vanilla theme of Fluxx is kind of boring. I've never played any of the other ones, the Cthulhu, the Pirate, the Star Fluxx, but I automatically like them better just because they have more interesting themes. This is their flagship and the one that most people are going to be familiar with, so I understand them using this, I really do.
I loved the game. I had so much fun with it. My rating, my suggestion, put it on the table. If you have a gaming group that likes some randomness, but it's a little more controlled, it's not the sheer madness that sometimes Fluxx can be, which I love. It's great for that.
Fluxx the Board Game gets a thumbs up for me. I enjoy it. If you are looking for a cheap, fun, family, or non-gamer game, you could do a lot worse than Fluxx the Board Game. And it's better than the card game. It's more expensive than the card game, but it's worth every penny more.
I want to thank you for watching our double take review of Fluxx the Board Game. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and we will send you an email every time we post a video. Isn't that awesome? I mean, I know you and you like to get emails. So subscribe wherever that button is. Click the button. Head on over to theologyofgames.com. There you will find our written review of Fluxx the Board Game and many other board games, card games, dice games. Find that all there at theologyofgames.com, where we also give you gaming news, reviews, and interviews with the top voices from around the gaming industry. You can also find us on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram. Interact with us, comment on our videos. We'd love to hear what you thought of this game. If you're excited about it, if you're buying it, if you're playing it, come and interact with us. We love the gaming community and we want to chat with you and hang with you. I'm Jeremiah.
Thanks for joining us on Theology of Games. I'm Scott Firestone. See you later. Boo.